Hi, it's Keith from the Evangelical Free Church Stony Stratford, and we're continuing our series of short talks in the Gospel of Luke. And today we're looking at Luke chapter 18, verses 1 to 8. Jesus is teaching his disciples about being persistent when they pray. The phrase that's used is praying and not giving up. Or another version puts it this way, praying and not losing heart. It reminds me of a time when I was back in my teens, that's a long time ago, but I had two friends who were entering a race and wanted to get some training in. Now, those friends were naturally much more athletically gifted than I was, but they phoned me up and said they'd meet me down at Haroldwood Park, which is near where they live, so they walked over there. I actually ran over there because I was about 1.5 miles away. When we got there, we started the race, which was 4 times round the cricket ground. Now, by the time I got on the 4th lap, I had a good lead. And as I looked back, I saw that one of my friends, probably the most athletic of the three of us, had given up. The other was trailing well behind me. Why was that when they were so much more gifted in athletics than me? It's because I trained the whole time. I wasn't naturally gifted, but most days I'd be doing some form of exercise connected with running, or I'd be out running. I had stickability. Rain or shine, I'd be doing it. It makes me think, doesn't it, that, when you don't do things so often, it is so easy to give up. So what does Jesus teach them about prayer, and how does he do it? Well, he does it in the form of a parable. In verses 2 and 3 we read, "In a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared about men. And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with the plea, 'Grant me justice against my adversary.' This judge just wanted an easy life. But there was this widow. In those days, in that kind of society, widows really were at the bottom of everything. There was no social security. They depended on others. Actually, the law was very strict about providing for them. But she would have been in the right state. And she just sticks at coming to this judge who's really just a brute of a man and doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't care, but she keeps coming. And in the end, she wears him down. Verse 4, Jesus said, "For some time he refused, but finally he said to himself, 'Even though I don't fear God or care about men, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see she gets justice so she won't eventually wear me out with her coming.'" She finally, through sheer persistence, gets what she needs. Now Jesus concludes, God is the complete opposite of that. Verses 6 to the first part of verse 8. "And the Lord said, 'Listen to the unjust judge says, and will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly.'" The judge caved in purely because he was fed up with the widow coming and taking up his time. But God cares for those who pray for the things he cares about, for the things that are in his nature. Did you notice that? It said, who cry out to him for justice. God is a God of justice. He wants to bring things together for his people quickly. Now, I know we can say sometimes there is a sense of learning in prayer. There can be situations we can learn from. But the essence of what Jesus is saying is God is the God who wants to give things when his children cry out according to his will. However, the last part of the passage takes an unusual turn. Just after Jesus has said he will see they get justice and quickly, he follows it with this. Second part of verse 8. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on earth? Now, maybe we're thinking that came a bit out left field. What's that about? Why has he suddenly changed the subject? Well, I'll tell you something. I don't think he really has. I think he's saying if we're not a people of prayer and faith, we will have no strength in this world. And the trouble is, isn't it, with us or the church, if we do not look to the Lord in all things, if we are not persistent in our prayer, then we will cease to be effective as his followers and effective as churches. We will end up people with no real saving message. The author of the book of Hebrews has these words to say to encourage people to fix their eyes on God, part of which, of course, is praying. This is Hebrews 12, and it is verses 2, second part of verse 1 and verse 2. Just listen to this. Let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. You see, this is the thing, isn't it? Jesus endured. Jesus went to the cross to bear our sin, to take our sin for us. And if we fix our eyes on him, where he is now in glory, that gives us the ability to run the race, to keep praying, and to keep being effective in his service. Thank you so much for listening.